Hey, this is Dr. Green with Momenta Chiropractic, and today we're going to talk about push-ups and shoulder pain. So if you tend to get shoulder pain when you do push-ups, hopefully this video will help you understand why. So there are two common things that we find in terms of movement patterns that end up developing shoulder pain in an exercise like a push-up. And one of them is letting the shoulder kind of move too far forward on the descent. So when we drop down into that push-up, you can see how the shoulder kind of rounds forward, which puts a lot of pressure on the biceps tendon, the labrum, and other structures like that cause a lot of kind of pinchy and stretchy type pain on the front side of the shoulder. The other thing that we look for is movement of the shoulder blades during the motion of the push-up. So a lot of people tend to drop down in the push-up and squeeze their shoulder blades together and then keep them squeezed together. Whereas when that happens, my shoulder blade doesn't move well with the rest of my shoulder. And so we end up getting a lot of motion just in the shoulder joint itself, and that can cause some pain as well. So now let's talk about that first movement pattern where that shoulder tends to come and draw forward at the bottom of the push-up and then spring back out. Okay, so when we're watching for this, usually what we'll see when this happens is that somebody's hands are a little bit too close to their body, and so all of the motion pretty much comes through the shoulder rather than being able to use their shoulder blades. So what we're looking for here is at the bottom of that position, the shoulder starts to dip forward and then spring back out. So I'll show you that one more time. Watch the shoulder itself coming down, pointing forward, and then back out. What we should see, especially if my hands are kind of in the right place, giving me enough room, is that shoulder, rather than dipping forward, stays in place, okay? So watch, we drive down, not forward, and then back, right? Pulling down, and back. So what you'll notice is rather than anterior translation, that shoulder stays in place and we allow the shoulder blades to pretty much do that job instead. So the last movement pattern that we're going to look at is when people kind of don't use their shoulder blades appropriately and kind of keep them pinched together in the back. And the easiest way to see this is kind of from over top and behind. So I'll go ahead and set up in a push-up position. Now what we're looking for as we go, and I'll kind of show you here, so this is retraction or pinching together of the shoulder blades, and this is what we call protraction. So notice how there's pinching of the shoulder blades here, some crinkles in my shirt, right? And then as I drive my shoulder blades apart, my shirt starts to smooth out a little bit, okay? So we want to see that motion throughout the push-up. When people have shoulder pain, typically what we find is when they descend to the bottom of the push-up and then they go to push back up, they don't protract the shoulder blades. So what that looks like is they pinch together at the bottom and then they stay pinched together throughout the whole motion, and it puts a lot of stress on the shoulder itself. So what we want to see is pinching together at the bottom and then protraction as we push up. So shoulder blades come together, shoulder blades move apart. So those are the two most common patterns that we see in terms of shoulder pain with push-ups, where the shoulder comes too far forward and puts stress here, or people kind of leave their shoulder blades pinched together and all the motion comes from the shoulder, both of which just places a ton of stress in the shoulder joint itself and can lead to some of that pinching and kind of stretching pain in the joint there. We hope that's helpful. Of course, if you're experiencing pain while you're exercising, it's always important to be able to go see a professional, make sure that it's nothing serious, and then get some specific tips that are individualized to you so that you can keep doing what you enjoy. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.